we can stay stuck in this sort of a half-life, a life with no purpose or meaning, a life peppered with a mix of anger, anxiety, frustration, bitterness, and regret at missed opportunities. The grief is often complex. It incorporates the loss of our future, but also the accumulation of our past events that may have contributed to our childless status. We experience secondary losses, perhaps of confidence, trust, self-esteem, self-belief, motivation, ambition. Every part of our life suffers. We can feel shame at not feeling whole, guilt towards our partner, or even our parents who won't become grandparents. Often relationships break down during the infertility or the childless journey, with communication difficulties, competitive grieving, or our grief just simply isn't understood by anyone. We experience bingo moments, comments from people such as, well, my husband only had to look at me and I was pregnant. Just relax and give it time. Why don't you try IVF? Have you considered adoption? It's unlikely that somebody facing the reality of being childless has not considered every option available. And just because it might be possible to adopt doesn't mean it's right for us personally. These comments, while generally well meant, invalidate the grief we're feeling and lack the kindness and compassion that would be so much appreciated. From strangers, often an opening question is, do you have children? If only they knew how painful this can be. One aspect of my grief journey that mystified me was the unexplained body pain that no chiropractor, osteopath, or physio could understand. I had a physical breakdown due to the extreme emotional overload and was in a state of such deep grief. However, no health professional asked what was going on in my life, inside my head, and I didn't think to tell them. I now understand that in fight or flight mode, our immune system's affected. And with an autoimmune illness, it's no surprise that I was in pain and heavily reliant on medication during this time. I now understand why I haven't had any flare-ups for some years. I feel safe and resourced now. So what can we do? Our future is dependent upon us letting go of our dreams, of us accepting a new reality. Realistically, when we're in the process of letting go, we're taking a leap of faith just into the unknown. We're reimagining a future, but it's one we never envisaged, one we had never dreamt of, one that we don't want. Grief is chaotic and messy, and the various layers of grief take a great deal of processing. Grief isn't linear and it has no time limit. Our childless grief can drag on, and mine probably did for a good 5 or so years. As a wise lady said recently, resilience isn't born of comfort, it's forged in chaos. Life explodes, plans crumble, control vanishes. Let go, what matters will remain. So how do we go about finding that other future, the one that we don't really want? The good news is we can find joy and fulfillment in our future. As Neil Donald Walsh said, life begins at the end of our comfort zone. Resilience isn't about avoiding the pain and the hurt. It's about journeying right through those emotions and emerging stronger. When we step into our new future, when we decide that we want to start living again, when we accept that it is only us that can live our own life and that we can experience joy and that nobody else can make us happy, the world can move from monotone to technicolor. We take charge of our destiny rather than staying a passenger on the train of life. Often this journey leads to some significant life changes, as it did for me. No longer are we limited to living in a set location for schools. We often change career. We reassess our values. We assess what's really important to us, what fulfills us. We look for a life of meaning, of purpose. Our priorities change. We have to establish our why. Today, it's my honour and privilege to work with those that are grieving their childless journey. The transition from pain and sadness to a life of joy and fulfilment is a step into the unknown, and it can be incredibly difficult to achieve by ourselves. Fear grips us, fear of change, fear of the unknown, it holds us back. Fear is an emotion to keep us safe, but it can also keep us stuck. So we have to look inwards for that strength and resilience that has been in hiding. We have to give it a good polish. We have to trust in ourselves. We do actually have all the answers inside of us. Forgiving ourselves is part of the journey, as is forgiving others who have played a part in where we find ourselves. Bitterness is the enemy of happiness. It only serves to hold us back, and forgiveness brings with it a surprising relief. This does, however, come some way through our journey. In the depths of sadness, forgiveness is the last thing that we can contemplate. Often on this journey, we've lived for some time just inside our heads. Our focus is just inwards. Adopting that outward focus, appreciating what's all around us, what possibilities might be available to us, opening ourselves up for new opportunities and adventures. This can be a huge challenge when we feel as though we don't fit in, that there's nothing out there that we want. We often feel incomplete without children, and yet we are whole. As individuals, we're a whole person. We might feel angry that our body has let us down, yet it's supported us since birth and functioned in all manner of ways to keep us breathing, digesting, moving, thinking, talking. To live our alternate future, we need to focus on what we can have within our own capabilities. We can't expect to have the feelings that come with having children when that's not an option for us. Acceptance is the absolute key to unlocking our future. One of our biggest enemies is comparison. That others have everything that we want, that others achieve more than we did, that others have a husband and children and a great job, and it's so unfair that we don't have that same full package. A victim mentality is so extremely common when we're childless and grieving. We have to start living our life away from the envy of others. We have to accept what we can have. What we have to forgive ourselves for our choices, for the direction that we took, for perhaps not loving ourselves enough.